Today's video is brought to you by ProPlay Games. If you want to buy the latest singles or sets, look no further than ProPlayGames.com. And don't forget to keep up with our nationally renowned team by liking us on Facebook, following us on Instagram, and most importantly, subscribing to the ProPlay Games YouTube channel. Enjoy. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Gage here with ProPlay Games, and today I'm just going to go over a brand new archetype that I know had a lot of cards released over a little span of time. They weren't all released in one cluster, so I just decided to wait it out and see exactly when the amount of support that we were getting would stop flowing. And we finally have a couple cards that actually talk about the wrap up a little archetype, and that's Espirits or Espirits. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but I'm going to go with Esprit because I just think it sounds better. And it's a Spirit archetype, which is pretty freaking awesome. As we've had Spirit support kind of released in the form of Nikitama and Aratama, there really wasn't an actual consistent archetype to be able to play Spirits in, but now we're starting to develop that, and I think it's going to be really good just because of this big bitch here. This thing is amazing. If you guys haven't seen this yet on the organization, which thank you so much, the organization, for supplying us with all this information. I'm going to just go over it for you guys and talk about what I think is good and exactly what you can apply with this archetype to make it better. So first off, I'm just going to talk about the boss monster, a good place to start, and that's the Esprit Lord. I'm not going to even begin to try to announce that. I don't want to fuck it up so bad. But it's a level 8 Wind Wing Beast type Ritual Spirit effect monster with 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Esprit Calling. It must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by other means. If this card is ritual summoned, you can return up to 3 monsters, the opponent controls to its owner hand. Then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower spirit monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. During the end phase of the turn in which this card was ritual summoned, return this card to the owner's hand, and if you do, special summon 2 Esprit Bird tokens, which are Wing Beast type, Wind level 4, 1,500 attack, 1,500 defense. Whew. That's a mouthful. This card is actually amazing, and if you guys don't know, this card does not target when it's returning the 3 monsters, up to 3 monsters from the field to the hand. And I think it's really important that it says up to 3, because if it said just 3 base, that's kind of actually really difficult to accomplish, because this would be really easy to play around, as players could just summon 2 monsters or anything if this became that big of a problem. But the fact that this does not target and it is up to 3 makes this card an absolute ridiculous boss monster to work around. The fact that it also returns itself back to hand at the end phase makes this so much more threatening, because you can just keep utilizing this as a boss monster. Cards like Ignister at 1 and everything, this is a problem for those big monsters that have non-targeting removal effects, because you have to use them so sparingly, because you can't just waste it on anything. You have to use it as a choke point, or use it at a point that will seal you the game pretty much. But this can just keep coming back to hand and everything. Your opponent is not going to be able to commit any tough monsters on the field that require more resources, because if they make something like an XYZ monster, the materials fall off, they've burned 2 resources to make that XYZ monster, and they can make it again, sure, but they're going to burn 2 more resources in the process. So eventually, with a card like non-targeting removal effects, which I've mentioned many times is the forte of the game right now, you need to have those type of effects to start winning games, getting around spirit dragons and such. This card is amazing, and I'm really excited to see how this card's going to pan out when we get here in the TCG, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Special summoning a level 4 or lower spirit monster from hand, ignoring the summoning conditions, is really helpful with another card down below here, which we'll go over in a moment, and I'll kind of explain the synergies when we get there. And then during the end phase, you bring it back to the hand and you get 2 tokens. I don't think the tokens are really that relevant. I guess it's just kind of a cool thing to be able to have some sort of a wall built up whenever you return them to hand, because spirits do always leave your field open, so having them return back to hand is really helpful, I think. And this card is insane. But here's the ritual spell that kind of pairs with it, which I think also makes it really good. This can be used to ritual summon that specific one or that. So since these are specifically named, yeah, you can use pre-prep with this. It makes it even more ridiculous how that you're able to use pre-preparation of rites for this, because it is written on the card there. So that's just even more synergy that I would think is totally unneeded. But its effect is you can tribute monsters from your hand or field, or banish spirit monsters from the graveyard whose total level is equal to the level of that monster that will be ritual summoned or more. So you have the flexibility of tributing, of course, more, or banishing more from your graveyard if you need to. You're not stuck with the 4s, which, granted, level 4 spirits isn't going to be that difficult if you're playing this specifically as an archetype. Nikitama, Aratama, the level 4 bird dude down here, they're all level 4. So being able to banish 2 resources from your graveyard is not that hard. But if you want to play some higher level spirit monsters like Yamada Dragon, I think it's Yamada or Yamato Dragon, and you can play like Feng Guang and stuff, you're able to banish those as well to kind of compensate. So really flexible card, and again, pre-preparation. I can't stress that enough. Pre-preparation of rites is so good with these 2 cards. Moving further down to the card I think that best pairs with the Ritual Boss Monster, which is the E-Spirit Bird. Again, I'm not going to even bother. It's just too hard. Level 4 Wing Beast type effect, Spirit Effect Monster. 1500 attack, 1500 defense. Cannot be special summoned. Once per turn, if a Spirit Monster other than this card is normal or special summoned, and this card is in the Monster Zone, you can activate this effect, draw one card. And then during the end phase of this turn, the card is normal summoned or flip face up, return it to the hand. Which is important to note. If you summon it with E-Spirit Lord, it does not return to hand because it was special summoned that turn. So, ignoring its summoning condition is pretty hot because you're able to use that, special summon it, and then pair it with a card like Nikotama, which is going to get you an additional normal summon. So able to draw the card off of Nikotama, get the search of Aratama if you pair Aratama with Nikotama, which is obviously the dream hand. You draw a card off of Nikotama, and then you get the Aratama, get a search off of that. You could search for the boss monster, I think, or search, yeah, you search any spirit. So you search the boss monster, you search whatever you need. Overlaying to a rank 4 of your choice, detach to the Nikotama, get a draw for the Nikotama, you've plus, what, I think that's +2 at that point and everything, and you still have this guy left on the field, plus the additional tokens that get on the field and everything. So, lots of synergy in these top 3 cards we've seen here. I'm shocked. Like, these cards are so good in tandem together. I wouldn't expect Spirits to get something this phenomenal. But I'm really excited to see how it pans out. I think it's really awesome. And then, of course, this card's here just good for recursion. I wish it was more than once per turn you're able to draw the card. That would have been insane because then the Nikotama Aratama synergy I just talked about would get you like a +2. But maybe I'm reaching a little bit too much. I don't know. But the synergy already within these cards is absurd. And if you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. But this is I'm really excited to play this stuff. And then the trap card here, going over it real quickly because I don't think it'll be played that much. Esprit Healing, continuous trap card. You can only activate each effect of it once per turn. If a face-up spirit monster you control is returned to hand while this card is in your spell and trap zone, target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then when an opponent's monster declares an attack and banish one spirit monster in your graveyard, negate that attack and then end the battle phase. So this card here, just going over it real briefly, I think the fact that it activates during the end phase because you're returning a spirit monster during the end phase all the time, I think it's a little slow because normally your big boss monster here is going to be removing any threats from the board anyways. Being able to, I guess, be flexible pop cards is kind of cool, but outside of that, it's not going to be doing much. And then when your opponent monster declares attack, banish the spirit monster, negate the attack, and end the battle phase. That's a little slow and everything. Ending the battle phase, of course, like I've always said, battle isn't where most things are happening, I guess. But this is good because when the spirits go back to your hand and everything, maybe you don't have that much protection, and since this ends the battle phase, it just becomes that much better. So ending the battle phase is definitely a really good thing. It's kind of like a negate attack, if you want to go with that. Negate attack, man, what a throwback. But I think this card might see play in maybe like a 1 or a 2 of, but the fact that it's not surgible just kind of makes it slow, makes it a little bit too reliable on the fact that you're having a consistent board. So Esprit Healing, it's okay, but I don't think out of the other cards we've read here, it's not nearly as powerful. Moving on further, I'm going to just go over 2 more cards that we had announced. We've had a total of 5. Next one is the continuous spell for the archetype, and that's Esprit Power Spot. This card's really good. You can only use the second effect of Esprit Power Spot once per turn, but the first effect is all spirit monsters gain 500 attack and defense, making them huge, by the way. And then the second effect is if a face-up when monster you control is returned to your hand, you can activate this effect, add from your deck to your hand either 1 spirit monster or 1 ritual spell card. So this is obviously going to activate during the end phase and everything. Once you bounce back your boss monster and everything, you get another recursion for a card. So after all that advantage that I just talked about with the bird thing here, the level 4 dude, and Nikotama, Aratama, after it returns to the hand during the end phase, you get another search. You get another boss monster if you need it. That's probably not the best play. Or you get the ritual spell card again so you can summon it again. And that is so synergistic and so good. If you're already playing cards like Ritual Sanctuary, pre-prep, you already have a extremely consistent way to get to that boss monster. This just makes it more consistent to be able to keep the resources you need to keep making it, and that is phenomenal. I'm blown away. This card's really good too. Like the whole archetype's really good, and this is a card that your opponent has to deal with kind of immediately, because if they don't, you're just going to keep netting that advantage and everything, as if the first end phase advantage wasn't good enough. But you're going to keep netting it and keep grabbing it if your opponent doesn't deal with it immediately. Great card. And to wrap it up, got one more spirit card to talk about, and that is Kowanakami. I tried, but it's a water level 4 Aqua Spirit effect. 1800 attack, 600 defense, cannot be special summoned. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, you can target one face up monster on the field, treat it as if it was a spirit monster, and return it to the hand during the end phase. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summoned or flip face up, return it to the hand. As for this card, I think the only thing to really point out is A, it's not a wind, so it doesn't tie with the Espirits really that well. But the thing is with this card is you can target any monster on the field. So you can target your opponent's monsters and everything and return them to hand. Of course, it's targeting effect, so it isn't that fantastic. But if you want a sort of a way to, during the end phase, remove a threat, this is the way to do it. But as for other spirit cards, as for obviously the other ones we've had, I think this is a little bit lackluster compared to what we've seen. And you can only get the effect when it's normal summon too. So if you special summon it off the Esprit boss monster, you're not going to be able to get that effect. And then of course we also have another Esprit ritual monster, ritual boss monster, which isn't revealed yet. Now, if it's going to be better or if it's going to be just as good as the other Esprit we've had, I'm excited to see, because if anything can stack up to that, I'm gonna be throwing. I'm gonna be shocked, man. But obviously, all the Esprit support we've seen here, very impressive. I'm positive it's gonna be a meta deck when this thing is released. As we've seen Herald do so well currently with the pre-prep and everything, and Pot of Desires just being a really viable deck. I don't think there's any way this can't be a meta deck and everything. Just having an absurd boss monster and some insane synergy with pre-preparation of rights and the ritual spell card, and of course the other ritual monster in the archetype, as well as the already established spirit support in the form of Nikotama and Aratama. I'm just excited to see where this archetype's going to go. But please, guys, let me know what you guys think of all this Esprit support. Are you guys excited to maybe play with it and try it out? I can't wait to get my hands on these cards, man. I'm so excited. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, be sure to like the video, thumbs up the video, how much especially you enjoyed the video. Be sure to show your love for Pro Play Games, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you guys want to see more of me personally, you can subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, which I'll link down below for you guys. But yeah, guys, I thank you guys for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.